Hello there, boys and girls. Adam Nicholas here for WhatCulture Wrestling, and we, of course, are fresh off the back of night number 2 and night number 1 of the first ever 2-night WrestleMania 36. And I don't know about you, but it was weird, it was wonderful, and it gave me some truly memorable moments. But more importantly than that, for a man in a two-man team who tried to put together the best attires from WrestleMania weekends, from any pay-per-view weekends, imagine the look on my face when we found out it was going to be 2 nights of wrestling. Because yes, while it may have been the first ever WrestleMania behind closed doors to an empty arena where normally it would be the show of shows, the showcase of the immortals, the grandest stage of them all, with thousands upon thousands of fans in the arena, there was nobody there, but that did not stop them from making a ton of effort when it came to the actual show, but more importantly from the performers and their threads. And whatever you thought about last night, whether you just weren't into it or you really were, like this stupid little idiot, you probably had a weird time, you probably had a wonderful time, you probably had an unpredictable time, and are you probably the biggest fans of a Firefly Funhouse and a Boneyard match? I imagine the answer is yes. But if it's not, sit back, relax, and let's talk about all of the fascinating clothes and people who were wearing them from last night's WrestleMania. My name is Adam Nicholas, and these are the 10 hidden meanings behind WrestleMania 36 attires. Number 10, Shayna Baszler, Wonder Girl. Now let's start with the Queen of Spades herself, Shayna Baszler, who came inches away from defeating Becky Lynch and taking her Raw Women's Championship until the man managed to pull off a very Bret Hart-esque pin to win the match, sneak the victory over Shayna, and walk away still the champion. Now, as the old adage goes, dress for the job you want, and Shayna Baszler did exactly that last night. No, she does not want the job of being an actual belt smarter. She obviously wants to be the Raw Women's Champion, and she turned up in this stunning red and gold attire. And honestly, if I'd seen an image of her holding the Raw Women's Championship at the end of the night wearing that gear, I think it would have completely destroyed my brain. Well, the colour scheme was cool and obviously a fairly on-the-nose nod towards the thing that she wanted. I was definitely getting some vibes of Wonder Girl as well. Donna Troy, of course, from the DC series. The red and gold colour scheme she sported, I don't know, the actual tone of the red and the actual tone of the gold felt very similar. It was one of the first things we thought about when we spotted it. And ultimately, behind every great the man is a great the Wonder Girl. Yes, that's how I'm going to end this segment. The Wonder Girl. Number 9, Kofi Kingston, Pain by Numbers, Part 2. Now, when it comes to Kofi Kingston, you probably think about Kofi Mania, don't you? His fantastic journey all the way to the top, the pinnacle, where he finally won the WWE Championship 1 year ago, and it was fantastic. However, there's another journey going on at the moment, and that is the return to full fitness of Xavier Woods. Now, for anybody who watched Elimination Chamber, you will remember that Kofi Kingston and Big E, fellow New Day members of Xavier Woods, came to the ring dressed in all white with black outlines and these tiny little numbers. And we ended up telling you on our last video, if you were paying attention, go and watch it if you haven't, that their fantastic designer, Jonathan Davenport, had actually made a design that was very similar to Paint by Numbers, which he was calling Pain by Numbers, because of course it was a get well soon for Xavier Woods. Now, if you thought that was just a cute look for one pay-per-view, you probably would have been right up until night 1 of WrestleMania, when Kofi Kingston turned up for his triple threat match against John Morrison and the Usos, with half of his gear looking like it had been filled in with colour and the other remaining white and black. Now, this is a fantastic little cute design where basically the outfit that Kofi's wearing is going to gradually evolve over time until eventually the design will be complete, and you'd have to assume that's going to coincide with the return of Xavier Woods to WWE. I mean, that is just... Number 8, Seth Rollins, the Saturday Night Messiah. Now, I can't believe I'm going to say these words because, well, I've got a complicated relationship with this man. But is Seth Rollins back? Because as we all know, babyface Seth of 2019 and Twitter Seth of 2019 were the absolute worst, but slowly but surely, Seth is climbing his way back to being possibly really good again like he was in 2015. And another addition to that journey, my friends, was the return of the white tights. Yes, fitting in with his god complex, Seth Rollins was wearing a stunning pair of white tights with Monday Night Messiah emblazoned down the side, equipped as well, of course, with a fantastic white robe to go with it. The Messiah had returned and he was looking heavenly as ever. Now, while yes, this does hark back to a look that he had at SummerSlam 2015 that Vince McMahon infamously said he would never allow Seth to do again, it seems that because it fits with the character, that is okay. However, we've got a little inkling that this might also be a little hat tip towards the man who did it first before him at WrestleMania 25. I am, of course, referring to Shawn Michaels turning up as the born-again Christian to face the darker-than-dark Undertaker in what was obviously an absolute classic. Number 7, Curt Hawkins, Jushin Thunder Liger via Queens, New York. Now I know what you're thinking. You are thinking, Adam, what are you talking about? Curt Hawkins wasn't on the card last night. And you'd be absolutely right. However, I can't not put him on this list because if you've seen this picture on Twitter, you will see it is absolutely fantastic and it's an attire that just never was. Watching WrestleMania from his home in Queens, New York, Curt Hawkins posted this picture on Twitter with his little daughter in matching attires that were inspired no less by Jushin Thunder Liger, of course, who was supposed to go into the Hall of Fame this year. Oh, so many moving parts here because obviously Liger is going to be going in at some point, but the Hall of Fame was postponed and Curt Hawkins probably would have been on the card in some place, probably in the Battle Royal, but didn't get a chance to do that either. What a lovely photo this is. I know it didn't quite make the card, but Jesus Christ, man, come on. Look at that stuff. That is absolutely delightful. Number 6, Charlotte Flair. The two-time champ follows her father's footsteps. Charlotte Flair is one of those performers who always delivers on the big stage, whether that's in the ring or when it comes to her wardrobe department. And it's fair to say she doesn't shy away from the legacy that's behind her. Of course, we are referring to her iconic father, Mr. Ric Flair. And last night was no different for the Queen as she turned up looking to get her second ever reign as the NXT Women's Champion, sporting a purple and gold colour scheme. Now, to most that probably just seems like a bunch of nice colours, but if you dig a little deeper, you will know that her father, Ric Flair, won his second WWE Championship against Randy Savage in 1992, and what colour trunks was he wearing? Purple with gold trim. Now, if you didn't already know it before the best women's wrestler became the top of the best women's division, maybe the best division in wrestling right about now, then it's fair to say that Charlotte Flair does not need to lean on the legacy of her father anymore, if she ever did to begin with, truth be told. But to see her make a little nod towards her dad's legacies from past is still it's still something that warms my little heart. Number 5, Rhea Ripley, Dragon Ball Z's Vegeta. Now, when it comes to Rhea Ripley and her colour schemes for clothing, you'd probably think of the colour black, wouldn't you? Because she wears black waistcoat, a black top, black pants, black pair of boots, black eyeliner, black eyelashes. You're getting the gist of it by this point. However, there was a slight twist last night. As you can probably imagine, I made some very questionable noises when Rhea Ripley turned up last night sporting a stunning white jacket, blue pants and white boots combination. This was unlike anything we'd ever seen, or was it? Because if anybody had been paying attention, Rhea Ripley is a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, and this isn't the first time she's technically sported this attire. Because yes, for all Dragon Ball Z fans who are out there right now screaming into their screen, this was of course a nod to the Saiyan Prince Vegeta. What a guy he is. But this isn't the first time Ripley's done it, and we've also seen her do let's say a budget version of this when she was on the independents before coming to WWE. I think we can all agree she looks a little bit better this time round, but actually, thematically, this was pretty cool too. Because for anybody who watches the show, you'll know that Vegeta, while being pretty fantastic and an absolute badass, is always playing second fiddle to Goku, the show's protagonist, who is constantly being portrayed as the bigger, better, stronger fighter of the two. Now, constantly these two go back and forward, competing in competition after competition, and they get stronger, like iron sharpens iron. This all sounds rather familiar, doesn't it? Because Rhea Ripley, while she is fantastic, still isn't quite at the level of Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair's good, but this bout between her and Ripley saw Flair elevate herself once more and her legacy along with it. All I'm saying is, if we get another bunch of bouts between these two blonde-haired badasses, count me in. Number 4, Zelena Vega, the Queen of the Damned. Now, Zelena Vega is always value for money on these lists, and thank you, Zelena. You always make our life much easier when we're putting these together, because we can be certain that there's going to be some form of cosplay whenever you turn up. Vega's look from last night was actually inspired by singer and actor Aaliyah. Now, obviously not wearing her normal clothes, of course, but when she was in her final film role that she would feature in 2002 from the Queen of the Damned. And just like her vampire counterpart, she was out for blood last night as she sent Angel Garza and Austin Theory into battle against the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team Championships, and we can all agree that that headdress she was sporting was absolutely stunning. Great stuff. Unfortunately, it wouldn't really work out for her in the end because she was overshadowed by the appearance of Bianca Belair, who would end up giving her a good royal arse kicking. But still, love the attire. Number 3, Sasha Banks, the SmackDown champion in waiting. Now, when it comes to spending time on making your attires perfect and focusing in on some tiny little details, you're going to struggle to get two better than Sasha Banks and Bayley. Now, we're going to focus on Banks right now, but more on Bayley in just a second. Now, it didn't exactly take the greatest detective / genius to figure out that Sasha Banks was modelling herself upon the title match which she was in. Blue hair, white and gold gear. I think we got the message. However, an added layer to this was that her and best friend Bayley had turned up sporting an identical colour scheme. The two were on the same page, it seemed, heading into their big fatal 5-way match. Now, if you hadn't figured it out before this match actually took place, the key story going on here was, could Sasha and Bayley coexist in this match, or would Sasha be in it for the championship for herself? It was hard to tell, and this was a lovely added layer to kind of make you question that even more, and it would play in fantastically to the match itself and the overall finish. And I tell you what, let's just have a little chat about Bayley, shall we? Number 2, Bayley, her own past, present and future. Now, while she is the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion, Bayley, it's fair to say, has had a bit of a complicated tenure on the main roster in WWE, both on SmackDown and on Raw, and she managed to sort of channel all of that into her gear for WrestleMania 36. Now, as we've mentioned, the colour scheme was completely simpatico with Sasha Banks. Black, gold, white, and of course the blue from her belt completing the look. But Bayley went one step further as she tried to completely dissuade everybody that she is a role model anymore. If you remember her hugger iconography from her days as Bayley, the hugger turned up to 10. Remember those guys with their arms? That was fun, wasn't it? Well, no more, because Bayley had them all crossed out on her gear and scribbled out in a callous fashion. It's fair to say she does not see herself as a role model anymore. And if all of those layers just weren't enough for you on Bayley's gear, there was just one more with your name on it, because what colour scheme was she wearing when she first won her NXT championship against Sasha Banks at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn? I don't think I need to tell you. And number 1, with a bullet, John Cena, a Florida Gator in the Firefly Funhouse. Now, I hope and I think and I know that everybody who watched the Firefly Funhouse last night should have been absolutely mesmerized by the amount of stylistic choices that went into that as we traveled through the broken psyches of both John Cena and Bray Wyatt for arguably one of the most memorable WrestleMania moments, potentially of all time. There was an absolute plethora of attires to choose from here as we went back through old gimmicks of Bray Wyatt and John Cena's, as well as some gimmicks from other people they weren't even involved in. Like, we had John Cena in his Doctor of Thugonomics outfit. We saw Bray Wyatt in his Wyatt family outfit. We even had John Cena in the NWO shirt at one point, pretending to be Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Absolutely mind-bending stuff. But of all these attires, they actually saved the best for first, as it happens, because they went chronologically through John Cena's career, and what better way to start this than, of course, ruthless aggression John Cena. This was John Cena of the past, but with a little twist, because of course it was. It's WrestleMania, you've got to go the extra mile. Now, John Cena famously turned up to face Kurt Angle, telling him he had ruthless aggression, and he was wearing the black and red trunks and all that black and red colour scheme to boot. But slight difference on this one, because where was WrestleMania emanating from last night? Tampa Bay, Florida, of course. It may not have been in the stadium it was planned to be in, but it was in the Performance Center. Nevertheless, Cena tipped his cap towards the college football team, the Florida Gators, with a stunning little blue and orange pair of trunks and color scheme to boot. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, he's got the trunks wrong, but of course, it's John Cena. He never gets it wrong. He always gets it right. He's a marketing genius, and he knows how to pander to the fans. Honestly, if you haven't watched any of this, just go and watch the Firefly Funhouse match. It might be one of the best things you'll see ever. So there you have it. Those were all of the attires from part 1 and part 2 of WrestleMania 36, condensed and squashed down into a list of 10 which you either loved, hated, or felt was lacking a few more. If that is the case, of course, as always, you probably spotted some we missed, or maybe we just didn't have a chance to put them in. Did you ever consider that? I don't know if you do, but either way, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and share. Hit the old subscribe button if you haven't already. You can find the original article for this piece at whatculture.com/WWE. That's by Michael Hamflett. As always, a wonderful read. You can follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. You can follow me on Twitter if that is indeed your thing at It's Adam Nicholas, or if you just want some more videos, WrestleMania videos perhaps, well guess what? We've got quite a few of those at the moment. They should be just over here. As always, I have been Adam Nicholas. This has been WhatCulture Wrestling, and I will see you next time.